Hello everyone, welcome to this afternoon's webinar. We'll be looking today at how to use the new task side panel. I'm going to give just a few more seconds just for a few extra people to join us. Okay, so the reason why we've introduced this webinar today is in the last few weeks we've added some new tweaks to how the taskbar works just to streamline it and to make it easier to organise your information. There's lots of extra little features within this side panel that you may not be aware of. So today's webinar will be all about getting the most out of that sidebar. Okay, so on my screen at the moment, you should see a task board that I created earlier. And to open the side panel, it's just a case of clicking on there and it will open on this side. So on the task board, your side panel is made up of 6 different tabs. On your first tab, you've got info, and in here is all the essential information about your task that you might want to communicate with other people or just to keep yourself up to date with what you need to do. So at the very top here, we've got status. So if I click on this, I've got the option of no status. This might suggest that the task hasn't been started yet. Then I can choose in progress, just to communicate that I've got started, but I haven't finished yet. If I wanted to show that I'm no longer working on this task, I can choose on hold. And then I've got the option to complete it there. And if I click in progress, that will uncomplete it. Directly underneath this, you've got the progress bar. And here I can communicate in slightly more detail how far along this task is. So whether I've just started it, I'm about halfway through, or I've almost completed it. Directly underneath that, we've got urgency and importance. So the idea behind that is you can communicate how important the task is. So when you're delegating tasks, this could be a good way of highlighting very easily exactly what needs to be done first. So if I click on urgency here, I've got 2 different color options. Orange, which is a kind of amber option, so urgent but not extremely urgent, or I've got red, which is extremely urgent. Over here, I've got importance, and again, I've got that option of that orange flag or that red flag, or I can choose nothing at all, just to communicate with other people exactly how important that is. Underneath here, if any of you use the planner, you can add this task directly into your own planner by clicking the drop down here. So I can add that into now, next, or soon without needing to go into my planner. So if you make this update, only you will be able to see this little tab here, because it only gets added to your planner, not anyone else's. So a feature you might use, it might be the first feature that you go for in here, is the start and due dates. So to edit this, I'm just going to remove the current start dates just to show you. Click set start date. As you can see, it brings up a calendar. You can choose many months into the future. Anyone here, so I'm just going to click on Monday. And underneath here, I can actually set an exact time for when I want this task to start. Just click set start date, and we've got it here. Now automatically it will create a reminder so that 10 minutes before that task is due to start, you'll just get a notification up here to let you know that it's due. But if you wanted to know sooner than that, you can click here. I can change that to hours or even days. In fact, I can let myself know the day before that this task is due. Then underneath here, I've got the due date, and it's the same process here. So I'm going to say I want this done by the Friday. I can change the time. And underneath here, you've actually got an additional option called repeating tasks. So the idea behind this is if you have tasks, you know, they might be weekly tasks, monthly tasks, you know, you're essentially doing the same thing over and over again, and you want to save a bit of time. What you can do is you can change repeats every and change never to whatever duration you have. So I'm going to click on days, every 2 days, and set my due date. So what this means now is that if I go up here and I complete this task, you can see at the bottom that task has been re-added to my task board with a due date for 2 days after that task was originally due. And if I click into here, I can adjust this and change it to a week if I would prefer. Okay, and the completed task, the original completed task, I'll be able to find in the completed view, so that I'll always have a record of, you know, exactly, you know, what has been done. Oh. In addition to these reminders, you can add reminders which are completely separate to the due date. So down here, you see reminders and the alarm clock. If you click on here, you could choose to add a reminder, you know, a completely different date. So I'm going to pop that halfway between the new due date. So about there. I can even tell myself, you know, why I want that reminder. So now I can see on the 26th of Feb, I'll get a reminder to check in on this task, and I can add as many reminders as I want. Okay, so the next panel is your notes panel, and in here you could add extra notes you know, regarding this task. So, you know, this could be a brief, this could be explaining, you know, exactly what you want done on this task, or you could even keep handy things here like links, for example. So just save, and now I've got a hyperlink, and I can keep editing that and adding more at any time. There we go. The next tab over is comments. So you could use these in multiple different ways. If you're working with a team, anyone you've got added to the task board, if you just click at, you'll see their names pop up here, and I can send them a message that they'll get notified about. If you're not working in a team, another way you can use comments is almost like a journal to do with that task, because you'll always have the date on it. So and I can add like an update about, you know, what I've done for this task, any ideas I have, and, you know, I'll have the exact date and time for when I added that information. So even if you're not working in a team, you'll still find some use for, you know, the comments there. The next tab over is files. So you've got a couple of different options of how you can add your files. So if any of you use Dropbox or Google Drive, you can upload files from there, and that will add in a link directly to the file on Dropbox or Google Drive. Alternatively, you can upload your file straight from your device, or just drag and drop the file in. Once you've uploaded the file, you're going to be able to access that from any other supported device. So if you're also working on Ayoa on your iPhone, on your Android, your iPad, once you log in, you'll be able to download the file on that device as well. You can also add images. Just going to drag and drop an image here. And go. Go. As you can see, you can now access that PDF right there. Okay, so you can see there's a difference between the image file and that PDF. As right next to the image file, there's an option to say make cover. And what that means is that I can add an image as a cover image, much like these tasks that you can see here. So if I click make cover, I can then crop this to show what I wanted to show. I've even got the option to hide the task names if I want to, if I'm using Canvas view, and then set cover image. If I want to delete that anytime, all I need to do is click that trash can there. This tab is for your checklist items. So if you need to break down your task into more manageable chunks, you can start adding your checklist items here. So just start typing. And you can see on the tab here, 0 out of 4, which means I haven't checked off any of these lists yet. And if I check the task here, I've got exactly the same information. And as I've been adding more and more information to the task information panel, this has been updated on the task as well. So that even if I have that panel closed, I can see at a glance, lots and lots of information about this particular task. So as I start ticking my checklist items off, that gets updated on the task and the top of the task panel. You can also add hyperlinks into these checklists as well. So there's lots of use for how you might use this. So rather than just using it as an actual checklist, it's another place where you can keep your links. And will really help you just to break down some of the more meatier tasks. In the final tab, we've got more. So these are all the kind of MISC things that aren't in the other tabs. So what we've got here at the top is full task activity. And here I can see every single update that's ever been made to this task. So from a supervisor point of view, if you wanted to check, whether any changes have been made to the task, compared to what you'd originally shared with your team, you could check there. Or if you've been working on the same task for quite a while, you can actually look back and see how that's progressed. You can duplicate your task. This might be useful if you've got, let's say you've got another task board where you're going to need to do the same thing as you're doing on this task. Just click duplicate task. You can add that to a completely different task board and duplicate it. In this instance, because I've got checklist items, what I can do is I can convert that to a category. So let's say this task was actually quite large and all the checklist items I've created, they could actually be tasks in themselves. What I can do is click convert to category, and that will change this task to a category, and all the checklist items within it will become tasks. Anything that I've completed, so if I've marked off already, as you can see, they will be immediately put into the completed view. So I'm just going to uncomplete them just so you can see what they would look like. There we go. So now you can see that that task that we've been working on, that's now in category, and all those checklist items now are tasks underneath. And they've inherited the same urgency and the same due date as the original task. Underneath at the bottom, you've got mute notifications. So where this comes in handy is when you create tasks, you'll be automatically following them. So any updates to that task, you'll receive notifications and possibly emails. If you've delegated a load of tasks but you don't actually want to be notified, you can use this just to silence that so you're not receiving so many notifications. Okay, so I'm just going to show you some extra things that you can do using the task panel to make it easier to manage your tasks. So if you're working in a team, this is also where you would assign people. So you can see at the moment, I've got 3 different people assigned on here. So I'm just going to find a task where I haven't got anyone. There we go. So on here at the moment, you can see I've got no one assigned. So if I click on the little person icon here, then I will see a list of everyone within this task board. So people will only appear in this list if you've added them up here. If they're not on your task board, but you want to add them to a task, just remember to invite them in this section here. In theory, I could add everyone who is in this task board to this task. But if I want to remove someone, all I need to do is click on it and then click unassign, and that will remove them. Directly underneath that, we've got task location. So this basically just, it tells me what task board this is under and what category it's under. But what it also allows me to do is shuffle around my tasks to different task boards. So for example, right now it's on this one, but I can move it elsewhere if I choose to. I can even move it around on different categories here as well. Okay. Right at the bottom, we've got tags. So where tags are really useful is if you've got a particularly big task board, you may have lots of different departments working on different things, or tasks that are maybe thinly related but in lots of different categories. So what you can do is create tags to help you use in conjunction with the filter, just to help you concentrate on what you want to look at. So to add a tag, simply type and enter. As you can see on the task there, we've got the tag. If I wanted to filter that, just have to pop down here, click filter by tags. Now you can see that everything else has been hidden and I've just got that task up there that's been tagged as marketing. And I can do that for multiple tags at the same time. The filter combined with your task side panel will really help you concentrate on different aspects of your project or your everyday sort of workflow. You can search by urgency, importance, and who's assigned. And I can clear that right at the bottom by clicking X. Yeah. So I've just covered all the different features which are available in the task side panel on your task board and how you would use that with the filter. So now what I'm going to do is just pop over to the Mindmap view. and just show you around the side panel there as well, because there are a couple of extra things. I'm just going to choose a branch which I haven't edited before. So as you can see, the task side panel here, there are some things that will be familiar from the task board view. So we've still got our notes where we can add, any supporting information about this branch, that might help either yourself or anyone you're sharing this mind map with. You've got your comments, or you can continue to discuss things. Your files. So where the differences are is the formatting panel and your tasks. So this first tab allows you to customize the look of your branch. So this first section here, you can change the shape right underneath. You can change the color. Next to this, I can add cover image. So the big difference between the mind maps and the task board is that because the mind map is so visual, we've got a couple of different options for adding image files. So you can either upload an image directly, or you can click search web and search for a royalty-free image here. So at the moment, this image is quite small, but if I pop down here, I can just play around with the size of that image just to show off the image I've chosen. If you want it to adapt automatically, just click auto, and it will adapt to the size of the branch. So the connector is the branch itself. So if I click and change that, then I can change the look of the branch. And I could also change the color. So normally on a mind map, you'd stick to the same color for one set of branches, but you might find, if you've created quite a large mind map and you want to highlight particular ideas, maybe just so you remember, what you thought was a good idea and what you want to share with people. So you can do this in here. And it's just another way of, helping yourself and retaining information. If I pop up to a parent branch here, so that's the main branch where all the other branches are shooting off from, I might decide that I want to change the color and style of every single child branch attached to this. What I can do, I can have a play around, decide what I want to change it to. I'm going to change the color here, and I'm going to change the connector as well. So rather than having to go back and change all of these branches, what I can do is right down the bottom, we've got an option that says apply style for children. As you can see, that's now updated, and all of the branches have now got exactly the same formatting as that branch at the beginning, which saves a lot of time. So, if you ever change your mind, decide actually the color and the formatting that you began with, you want to change with it, just go back to that very, very first parent branch and make all your changes there. The other difference in the Mind Map task panel, side panel compared to the task panel, is this option called tasks. And what this section allows you to do is, let's say you've been mind mapping, you've been deciding what you want to do next and generating loads and loads of different ideas. If there's something that you decide, actually, I want to action that, that's a good idea, you can pop in here, click the three-dot menu, assign someone, and you can actually add it to a task board you're already working on. And you can even decide category. If you click add task, you can now see that I've got a task associated with that with that branch. And I can see that I've got a task on this because I've got a little tick here. So if I open this now and I go to info, you can see exactly what task board it's on. And if I want to skip to that, all I need to do is just click on the little arrow here and it will open up that task board with that task straight away. So I'm just going to navigate back to that mind map. Okay, so the last tab here is the More tab. And in here, I can copy the branch link. Because if I was chatting to someone on chat, I can literally just copy and paste that there, and they can skip very quickly to that. Or I could even add that link on a different branch where it's where I believe there's like a connection there. In here, I've also got the option to delete. Okay, so that's an overview of all the different options within the sidebar for both mind mapping and task boards. We've got some time, so if anyone has any questions on what I've shown you today, just let me know through the Q&A and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, I'm just going to give you a few minutes just in case you did want to ask any questions. In the meantime, if you want any other extra information about using Ayoa, we've got a huge range of support guides, which you can find at support.ayoa.com. In here, you can quickly search for any particular feature that you want to know about. We cover lots of stuff, getting started with Ayoa, working in a team, extra hints and tips, and we cover every device. We also have YouTube tutorials. Just search Ayoa on YouTube and you'll find a large selection of tutorials. You can contact us at support@ayoa.com. So if there's anything that you're not sure of that you want us to explain a bit more, just pop us over an email and we'll be happy to help. Next Wednesday, 2:30, we'll be doing another webinar. So this will be about getting started with Ayoa. So if you're trying to introduce anyone to Ayoa who's not quite sure how to use it, this will be the perfect webinar just to get them started and introduce them to the different features. Okay, I haven't had any questions yet, so I'm guessing everyone's happy with how to use Ayoa, but if you're just feeling a bit shy and you want to ask after the Q&A, by all means, just pop us over an email and I'll be happy to help. Okay, thank you ever so much for taking part in the webinar today. Oh, one wrong question there. So all the tasks associated with branch and sub-branches. Okay. Let me just have a look. So when you have added a task to a mind map, they will be visible here. So within this tab, I can add multiple tasks to the same branch. I'm not limited. So for example, I'm just adding another one here, and I can see that there are 2 tasks associated with this branch because I've created and added them there. So yeah, that's the view where you'll see any tasks associated with the branch. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Brilliant. Okay, so if anyone else has any questions after the webinar, just email support@ayoa.com. And if you've got any suggestions for any other webinars we can do in the future, we'd love to hear them. So just let us know through support, and we'll be happy to look into creating them. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.